Hello, everybody, and welcome to another week of Boss Talks. This is episode 61. I have a great guest today, and it's a special day for them. Shatoria Daniels, she's out of Arkansas, and it's her birthday. So we have the birthday girl in the house. As to why I have the happy birthday sign behind me. So we're going to honor her and her special day today. She picked this day specifically because it's her birthday. And so I want to make sure I do my best to make this a fun, enjoyable birthday episode for Shatoria. She's been in the industry for just past 18 years. She's with RAM Partners currently. She's referred to by those that love her in the industry as a silent storm, I believe, or quiet storm. That's what it is. She's very involved. She's been the president of the local chapter of NAA, the Arkansas Apartment Association. She's been on many committees. She's just done everything, but she does it with such humble and just quiet leadership. And so she's so focused on helping others succeed. And that's really going to be kind of a point of conversation today, is just being very locally active, but also nationally active. She started local with her association and moved to the National Association for the Apartment NAA, and has become more and more involved there. She has all the credentials behind her name, which just means she's done everything and gotten all the trainings, and she's very much ready to serve and help others, whether it's through trainings or just one-on-one mentorship. So super excited to have Shatoria today on her birthday. But before we get to her and bring her to the show, I'm Evan Happel, your host of Boss Talks, and I'm with a company called Community Boss. We have a great solution that helps you manage the physical aspects of your community, whether it's your parking, your amenities, or if you need help with any kind of mapping, we got you covered. And we can also generate some great revenue through our platform as well. So hit me up if you have any questions. But it is time to bring Shatoria, the birthday girl, to the show.
Hi, I brought
Happy
my crown.
birthday.
Thank
Yes,
you,
the
thank
birthday
you.
queen is here.
It won't stay on, so I want to take it off, but I told you I would bring my crown today.
And it's fantastic. I saw yesterday a little pre-birthday, I guess day before, on Facebook, that your husband, he had a great display in the lawn when you guys came
Yes,
home last night.
he did. He knows that I'm usually really big on birthdays, and this year was kind of a little blah for me, so he decided to, do the whole yard sign from a company, and just to top it off, he knows I'm an avid Golden Girls fan. My
Okay.
office is full of Golden Girls. I have the cup with everybody on it. So he had 12 roses in the yard, but they were actually Rose Nyland from the Golden Girls. So like 12 images of her. So him
Yeah,
and
I
one of
saw
my
it. It
dear
was
friends,
great.
Margaret. So yeah, it made me smile, and that was the whole point for sure.
That's fantastic. Well, that's great that he did that. And I hope your birthday's feeling better. I hope you do something fantastic today, other than just being a boss and on Boss Talks, which is a great way to, recognize a birthday. And I'm so happy that my boss bling made it your way before the
It
show so you
did.
could
There we
wear it.
go. Got
I
it.
love it. I love it. Now, did you get one in NAA?
I did, and my son
Okay.
has it. So
Okay.
when
So
he's
now
playing
you
video
have your
games, he's a
own.
boss. I have my own
Okay.
now. Correct.
Okay. Perfect. Fantastic. So you can wear your boss bling, drink your boss coffee in your boss
Mhm.
mug.
That's right. Got it. Have to show it.
Okay.
Manage like a boss. There we
Beautiful.
go.
You too can be adorned as a boss if you're on Boss Talks. So that is I guess one of the perks. I don't know.
That's yes, definitely.
And I've heard from others, and I've drank it too, that it's actually good
Mhm.
coffee. So
Okay,
we didn't
I'll
we
have to
didn't
try
we
it.
had to represent well when it comes to coffee because we are in the Northwest, and that would be an epic fail if we sent gross coffee from up here in Seattle. So
Yeah, you have to do right for
that's right.
sure.
Absolutely. Well, like I shared, we're going to go over some things when it comes to like mentorship and growing others and all that. But before we get there, I have my 3 questions I always love to ask my guests. And I like to kick it off with, when it comes to community, how do you go about building it from a personal and professional standpoint with people, not building a actual community? How do you do that?
For me, when I build my community personally and professionally, I lead with an open heart and open mind. I have to, because everybody comes from a different walk of life, but that doesn't mean that we can't add to each other. So I
Yeah.
don't want my community to look like me all the time. I don't want them to have the same background, because I want those people to push me and I want to push them. So um, I'm always open. I love to tell my staff my knower, my discernment, my knower will kick off if it's not right. And I will exit stage left immediately because my piece is expensive and important. But I do make sure that I communicate well. And when I build those relationships, they understand where I'm coming from at all times, good or bad. And that way they know that, this is a team effort. It's always, there's a joke that Chris Rock did, and I think it's called The Tambourine Man. He said, in some relationships, you are the lead singer, and sometimes you're the tambourine player, right? So when you're building communities and having folks, sometimes you're up front, and then sometimes you're just the support and just playing the tambourine. So, I kind of use that analogy and just kind of lead with my heart when I build my communities.
Nice. Well, I think leading with your heart is a absolute great way to go about it. And um, I'm sure those that are in your sphere appreciate you immensely for that.
Most of the time.
Most of the
Most of the time.
All right. And then next question, when it comes to building community, hospitality is a great way to go about it. Having people over for dinner. So what would you make for somebody that in order to speak love and hospitality, what kind of food
Oh,
would you make somebody?
well, I'm a girl from the South, so it has to be something to stick to your bones. Um, let's see if it was an intimate meal. Um, there is a stuffed chicken breast that I like to prepare. It makes a lot. So if you do have a large family, a large gathering, you'll have plenty there, with all the sides, and we have to have tons of bottle of wine to go along with it.
All right. Well, somebody needs to make that for you tonight then. Actually, they're probably
They
going to
do.
take you out to dinner.
They better. Or the roses come out the yard.
I hope your husband's watching, because
Oh, we'll
he
see.
knows
We'll
better.
see.
He knows
He
better, right?
knows better. 19 years
Okay.
in, he definitely knows better.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yes.
All right, awesome. And then finally, when it comes to coffee or your caffeinated beverage of choice,
Yeah.
what would your go-to be, like your favorite drink?
Well, if any of my staff members are on here, they know they usually see me with a venti iced white chocolate mocha with no whipped cream from Starbucks. Every property I roll into every morning, it is in hand. Now, if I make it at home, I'm usually a Pike Peak or a dark roast with a little bit of
Okay.
caramel. But yeah, that's my choice.
All right. Well, soon it's going to be Boss Blend, but
That's right. I hadn't got there yet, but it's over here. I had to try it a little bit.
it's funny because we actually have had people say they want more. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
they want to buy it. I think Lori, she's on here. She's like, "How do I buy that stuff?" I was like, "Well, I mean, we weren't really going into the coffee business, but
Absolutely.
but maybe we should. A little side
Maybe we
side
should.
hustle." All right. Well, thank you for sharing your favorite drink, and let's get right into it.
Okay.
We've stated, for those that are just jumping on, and thank you for the comments. Hopefully you're seeing those on the side
Yes.
there, all the birthday love, but it is her
Thank
birthday,
you.
and so be sure to continue uh, giving her that love throughout the entire show. And then after the show, make sure you send her a gift card or something. Come on,
Correct.
people.
For coffee.
Yes, coffee gift card. All right.
Mhm.
Make sure she's fueled for the day.
Correct.
All right. Well, thank you everybody that's joined so far. Thank you for supporting Shatoria today on her birthday here on Boss Talks. But one thing, like I mentioned, and you stated that others kind of refer to you as kind of a quiet storm, somebody that doesn't really doesn't admit the fact that they've been successful or been able to be in places like be the president of a local association, things like that. You don't really let it get to your head. And then sometimes you almost just humbly like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that happened.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a gift and a curse, you know.
Yeah.
Right, I was raised to always, just be humble, and your work will speak for yourself.
Yeah.
And just put in the time, put in the effort, and it will show. And but it's okay. I'm learning to say it's okay to toot your own horn, but
Yeah.
sometimes when you do that, people will um consider you arrogant or cocky, and that's not
uh,
necessarily so.
yeah.
So it's a fine line to walk. I was
Hmm.
speaking to a dear friend of mine, Ty Jackson. She's been on your
Hmm.
show before. She's a true friend of mine, and I was telling her, I kind of feel a little weird about my birthday, and she was like, "Girl, if you don't get yourself together, do you not know what you've accomplished and what you've done? And it's time to celebrate." So I'm slowly learning to celebrate myself and my wins. But yeah, I've just been told just to grind it out and it will show. But yeah, I need to speak it more,
Yeah.
so I can. That's another way that I can keep inspiring other people in the industry or just in general, just to keep moving. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my Achilles heel a little bit, but yeah,
No,
just try to remain humble.
I can understand that. And I'm similar in that regard. I have a really hard time like celebrating success for myself, but I'm all for celebrating other people. So
Absolutely. Yes, I'm everybody's cheerleader. I was telling her earlier, I was like, "Girl, I'm trying to find a flight to get to Birmingham to hear you speak." So I'm always pushing and cheering everybody else on, and that's just in my automatically. That's just in my nature. But yeah, I have to do better. So in the comments, the people there, while you sending me the Starbucks gift card, tell me I'm awesome at the same time, okay? So I can start to celebrate myself.
hey, this is great. Yeah. Make sure you do that. Her
Correct.
address and her email address are.
Right.
No, that's great. So some of the things that you have been involved in, and you got some credentials and things like that. Your involvement, though, what have you learned from that? Being the president of an association, and how many did you do that for multiple terms, or
Yes. So the
I
the
heard
running
there's a
joke
little
is
joke about that, right? Yeah.
yes. There's a running joke. I've had my Obama moment about 4 times now. So yes, I've learned. Oh, there's so many things that have happened. I've learned that what the industry really is. A lot of
Mhm.
times when you work on site, you just see your bubble.
Yeah.
And being able to be active with the apartment association is giving me opportunities to go to NAA and go
Mhm.
to advocate, apartmentalize and advocate in AOD. And it just opens up your eyes to realize that I'm in this major industry. Like
Right.
we are killing it here. And there were two facts that I learned at my first advocate, and it was I think 2014, and they stated that we had contributed 1.3 trillion dollars in the economy. And over
Wow.
700,000 jobs at that time were related to building multifamily, housing. And for us to have that information, how could you not be proud of what you do and make you realize that it's bigger than just leasing an apartment?
Mhm.
And then they also told us that 95% of anything that we advocate on the Hill for, we get passed no matter who's in office, Republican or Democrat. So that's major. So when you get those opportunities, it just really shows you what you can do and what you're about. Also, me being a little black girl in Arkansas, I was the first to show up with some color. in that position, so got a chance to break a barrier, break a ceiling there. And unfortunately, there's a lot of women of color when they work on different properties. They tend to end up being on HUD properties or a lot of tax credit
Mm.
or rougher properties, and it's very hard to get over that hurdle to do,
Mm.
your Class B, your Class A, your lease ups. And for me to be able to show up in a different light, I was able to, bring other ladies with me to be on the board. And some of them now have been president before, and we have one coming in as she's VP. She's incoming president next year. So they were able to be active with the association, but also make those connections. So when those different opportunities show up, they already have a little foot in the door, so they can, really show who they are. So um, I've just learned so many things. I've met so many people. Had the opportunity to do Leadership Lyceum, and I think I was the only property manager in that group. Everybody else was regionals and higher. So this little girl was scared to death when I walked into that. But just to learn what NAA is about, and then like again, just having another opportunity to really learn what the industry is, has just it's just been wonderful. So, and plus it pays my bills. So I'm always gonna. I have a 13-year-old son that wears a size 12 in men's shoe. So mama gotta work all day, every day. We got to buy Jordans over here. So yeah, so it has it's been a blessing for sure.
That's great. And I I think people have already said it in some of the comments, but it's fantastic that you've been able to break through some of those barriers that have been there in the past and maybe a little bit are still. Um, what what would you say the current state of things are like in a place like Alabama or Arkansas, I should say?
It's getting better. I will say that it definitely looks better than it has before.
Okay.
Um, I will definitely give that. I can't say that we are in the same place that we were when I first started um, in 2005 back
Okay.
as a leasing professional with I was with Star when I came back here from North Carolina. So it's definitely a lot better. It's a lot more open. There's still a lot of doors that we have to walk in, but I will say I'm not walking in those doors alone anymore. There was a lot of times that there was no one that really looked like me. Um,
Mm,
and now I have a team to walk through the doors with. So,
that's great.
that's even better. So it's getting there. We got some more work to do, but we definitely have support. And even though we're in Arkansas, we have um, we're just starting to form that support all the way around. Melanin and multifamily. We have several ladies from Arkansas that's active with that group.
Mm,
So when we're getting lost in the sauce or just trying to figure it out, we have another group that we can say, hey, Monica, hey, Dana, girl, can you help us here? Have you ever dealt with this? So it's just really making sure that even though we're in separate areas, that we have that community. So it's getting
yeah.
better.
Well, and I mean, you've been the president of the association. You're also the area vice president with RAM Partners. So you are now a decision maker. You are now a
I
person
am,
that can have influence. So it's
which is
fantastic.
scary. It can be scary, but that's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay. I have a great team.
yeah. But that's great. And I only hope things continue to improve and get better, and we have a greater sense of people at all levels across the entire industry that are from various backgrounds, and we are representing the diversity of our country and our local areas in all those different places better. So,
Yes.
because I don't think it's because of lack of success that people have. It's whether or not we recognize people when they have that success. And
Correct.
I don't think anybody wants to get promoted because they didn't have success. They just want to get recognized that they are
Correct.
successful.
Yes. Yes. We didn't do this work for nothing,
Right, exactly. I'm being successful. Now somebody please
Right.
recognize it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's great. When it comes to your local association, kinds of advocacy, what did you learn about, government affairs and things? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but like what can you share with other people when it comes to that, and how they can get involved when it comes to even down to the leasing agent or property manager? Because this is actually a conversation that I just had with my local affiliate, is how do we better educate people that are either just starting out or at the property level to care about government stuff?
And it's hard. I will tell you, Arkansas, we have some strange things going on politically.
Okay.
Trying to be good. So
Okay.
trying to be good. But yeah, we have some interesting things going on. So it is more in the forefront of our brain. Um,
Mm,
Politics is not necessarily just within our industry, but just as a whole. So
yeah.
it's a little bit easier to have those conversations. But it really kind of starts with our association educating us, educating the membership just about little things that's going on in your area, and then hoping those managers will take that information and relay it to their staff.
Mm,
Um, because it has to happen kind of organically,
yeah.
especially when it comes to your leasing and your assistant. A lot of times when you have membership events for the association, they're not the ones that attend. Sometimes it's the managers that attend. And but also is not just the advocacy part of it that we need to teach. We need to show them what the industry looks like. Like some people really don't realize that the Arkansas Apartment Association, or your local affiliate, is connected to NAA.
Right.
Some people don't even realize that that's a connection. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to get back to just learning who we are and what
Yeah.
NAA and how that looks. And then once you do that, you'll get into those things. You'll want to learn more because now your eyes are open to see that this is bigger than just, like I said before, your property. Um,
Right.
but it does start with those sites and someone taking the reins of actually learning and educating. I would tell you, if you have an attorney that is part of your association, those eviction attorneys, you need to utilize them. A lot of them, they have to go over those NAA leases for your state. And a lot of times they will find issues that may be going on within your lease, and then to let you know the changes. They'll also educate you on things that will affect the industry, and have them on your board with you, at least a co-chair. Just make sure you stay in constant communication with them, so that way you can hear it from a little bit more layman's terms than just reading this article that you found. So
Yeah.
just kind of tapping into your resources. And it may take the boards actually going and visiting properties like we used to, and then passing along that information. Some of it's grassroots when we come to affiliates, because not everybody's a Dallas Apartment Association, or those bigger ones. A lot of them are the smaller ones like we are. So
Yeah.
it's just making sure that we continue to put that information out. And some people will get it and some people just will not. Some management companies um, use NAA just for their lease. They just want them to stay in their bubble.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's what it is. And we can
Mm-hmm.
do all we can, but that's it. So you
Yeah.
just kind of have to take it in strides and grace, but just continue to put that information out there the best way we can.
Yeah. No, it is an interesting relationship, because sometimes it is just, oh, we just want to use, what is it, Blue Moon or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we're signed up. We got what we wanted.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're spending money, do more than just the lease.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
it's so many benefits to it, but
Yeah.
that's how it
So
goes.
when it comes to the benefits, you
Hmm.
yourself have jumped in all the way to the top. Um, what can you say has been the benefit of being very involved with your local affiliate, and why others should?
Well, the connections for one. I was just talking to one of my colleagues yesterday, and when she was, looking to hire a gentleman, and we were just kind of chit chatting about her guys as she was looking at resumes, and I said, "Yeah, I've heard really good things about him. I met him at, you know, an event that we have for the association. That happens more times than none, so." To be able to give that feedback, because hiring is so touch and go right now. It's hard to find good help, and we all just kind of discuss it and find out our nuances. But who hasn't said, hey, you know what, why not, why not use this person because I've heard this about them, versus just reading a resume. So those connections I have been able to maintain. Big on connections. You never know who you're talking to. as well. So you had to present yourself a certain way, because when I was doing when I wanted to do Leadership Lyceum, this is a 100% true story. I was at dinner with the board, and we had Michelle Childers and Vicky Sharp in to teach the CAM. And I was sitting at the table with them, and I said, I'm trying to figure out how to do um, this NAA Leadership Lyceum. Where do I start? Because I'm at a small affiliate, I'm not a big one. How does this work? And Vicky was like, "Oh, I know a couple of people that's figured out." Didn't realize her husband is the one who wrote the Blue Moon lease. Okay, he wrote the lease, so he's the grandfather. He's the godfather, and did
Interesting.
not have a clue to this. And she was like, "Yeah, we can figure it out." And Michelle Childers, same way. She was like, "Yeah, hold tight." A couple of weeks go by, I get an email from NAA inviting me to apply. I get it. I'm like, that went by real simple, but I'm just going to roll with it. And my first meeting for Leadership Lyceum, these four gentlemen were sitting at the table. I introduced myself to them, and I walk in, and one sits beside me. He's just really chatty. Again, still not putting name to context. And it was Vicky Sharp's husband, and he also has been the president of NAA, or chairperson of NAA years ago. And all those gentlemen had been past chairmen. And I'm sitting there like, oh, so that's the Godfather and then all his brothers, sitting there. And I'm like, but
That's
just
funny.
to make sure that you're presenting yourself the correct way. And that's one reason why I think the humble spirit we were talking about come into play, because I never know who I'm coming into contact with, and I
Sure.
never want anybody to. I'm going to be judged regardless, but I just rather give off that spirit versus someone say, "Oh, don't talk to her because she just came in just all over the place." So,
Mhm.
but yeah, but the connections is the biggest thing. I've made great friends. Now when I go to NAA, I don't have to sit alone when I go to apartmentalize and wonder who I know. Now it's like, hey girl, it's a family reunion, and I've been able to just connect with, folks just even trying to create classes together to teach, for conferences and things like that. Megan Orster is one that we connected together. I think it was Next Gen Committee, and she was just sitting next to me. I was like, "Hey, girl." She was like, "Hey," and now we're doing this thing together. So just making sure that you're open, and
She,
making
and
sure that
she
you're
she made a
available.
comment. Did you see it?
Let's see. Have exciting news, and almost says we got. Is it what I think we're selected for, Megan? Because I haven't checked my email. Because if it is, honey, then we got to celebrate big. If that's what it is, that's going to be the best birthday present ever. So, but yeah, so no, it is. It's the connections, and then also being able to connect others with people. If I'm going to NAA and I have, for instance, a young lady that's in the chat with us, Patrice. This was her first time attending Apartmentalize. So I was able to say, come with us, and help you figure that thing out, because we walked in the room where it's just me and I have no idea who these people are. So, to be able to have some connections to where it doesn't feel as bad. And then you can bring somebody along with you, So, and that's the biggest part of it, is that you shouldn't just want to, break through barriers, ceilings, doors, whatever you want to call it, and don't have anybody come behind you. Like,
Right.
I'm setting it up for Patrice, Ashley, whoever wants to come behind me and take it, because the running joke is Shatoria don't want to be president anymore. I want to sit in the back like, go girl, go. I want to do other stuff. So, but yeah, it's the connections. It all goes down to that. And then it also shows that you're not in this alone,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to just, when things go on your property in Arkansas, you can connect with Evan and say, hey, have you ever had this issue? And you're like, yes, let me tell you another perspective from it. Because
Mhm.
sometimes your management companies or who you work for, your properties are all over, and you don't have those connections with who you work with, but you may have connections elsewhere, because we all do the same thing essentially. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, that's just how it rolls. That's what I've
Uh,
learned from it.
sure. Do you want to check your email right now?
Shit. Do I need to check my email,
I
Megan?
mean, she says it's even better.
Been better. Okay, let's see.
On the air.
On the air. Look at that. Can I say that out loud? Okay. So it's happy birthday. But me, Megan, and a gentleman by the name of Angel will be doing a webinar for multifamily insiders next year. So look at that. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Now, if there's something else in there, oh, she said not yet, baby. You need to cut that out. Cut that out. But yeah, so maybe that's gonna happen. We'll see what
nobody watches this. It's fine.
Nobody watches this. We'll bleep that out.
They got to get you got to get 30 minutes in, you know. So.
I know.
All right, nobody put it in the comments. At least just say yay.
Yeah, she said you heard it here first. Correct. Sorry, Megan.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I was literally just on the phone with Megan.
Oh, right really? Before. She's a good person.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever talked to Megan. So
really, she's good people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got the Shatoria endorsement. Therefore,
yes,
I guess we're moving forward, Megan. You are a boss. You will be on Boss Talks. Yep, we are gonna have a call, but ours will be in February sometime. So
okay. Well, congrats that you got it all scheduled out that far out. Well, kudos to you.
Quite scheduled. Yep, all the way. Actually, I'm towards the end of February now. So there we go.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So when it comes to some of the other things that you are interested in, it has to do with a little further down the road when it comes to building others up, developing others, your team really pouring into them and seeing them grow. And like, how is it? I mean, you listed it a little bit, kind of associated with association things and things of that nature. But when it comes to your leadership and being an area vice president for RAM Partners, how do you do that with just your team?
So I've been able to really build on that this year. I've had a lot of moving parts. So I have 7 properties, actually 8 now in Central Arkansas, and they're all within about a 25-minute, 30-minute radius of each other. So they're all super close. And, when one gets promoted, then you have the other one gets promoted, and then you kind of start moving to things. And this spring, summer, we had quite a bit of moving parts. We had some people to, move on, and I was able to, kind of promote. And the running joke was that my thought process for who I'm going to promote to do what looked like a NCAA basketball bracket, like the Final Four, like if I move this person here, it goes here and it goes here. Like I had this whole drawn out system. Okay. So we've been able to do that. But then in the interim, I've been able to recognize folks that are really doing well in their position, but just not ready to move forward. Right. And some people don't want to move from the position in. They just love being like an assistant manager. They just love being a leasing manager. And that's totally fine.
Right.
So when you recognize people's strengths, there's promotion doesn't always mean it comes with a dollar amount or just moving them to the next promotion. It may be where I know they're good what they do, so I want you to mentor someone. And then that can build your resume. So I've been able to I have 2 assistant managers. I call them the GOATs, the greatest of all times. I have tried to promote them to managers. They're like, nope, don't want it. And I've been able to attach them to 2 of the newer assistant managers. So they've been able to, utilize their skill set to actually train. And we've done that. Ashley, she's on the call with us today. She's my leasing manager for Waters at Chenal. She's great at leasing. And she's great at motivating her team and training. So now she has leasing rallies once a month with all the leasing folks that's in my area. So, just doing things like that. So where they feel like they're contributing and not just doing the job. Because if you're in it for the long haul, you need to know that you're bringing some value to it. Yeah. So, and then, I have some great leasing. I have a newer leasing professional name is Marissa. She wants to grow. She wants to learn. She wants to be able to go to different properties. And I told her today, I was like, hey, let's figure out how we make that happen so you can, really develop your skill set. So when you see people doing that, you have to make ways for them to understand that I'm here for you, and that when the time comes, we can talk about the promotion. But even if that doesn't look like that, that we're just making sure that we're feeding that fire,
Right.
because multifamily can get really, really, really ugly some days. There's
Yeah.
some people you want to reach out and touch. Is what I say as a residents on site. Y'all know. You want to, try not to go to jail. And, I don't look good in orange like that. So we have to scale back. Um, so, because they do have it hard, a lot of, folks on site, when it's time to pour into them, you have to do it. You have to show them their value and that you're there for their success. So,
Absolutely.
so you just have to find those ways. And then, it's always good to do the kudos. I'm big about going to Nothing But Cakes and bringing them little cakes. And, I've done the massages for the staff and giving them directions or initiatives, to if you want to get your nails done, any of those things. I know they may sound minor, but for them to just know that it's bigger than just, you got the lease, I gave you commission. It's hard. We got comps all over you. I need to let you know that you're really big in what you're doing. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's how we get down. My Amex for RAM, they probably don't like me some months because we get it going.
But if you have a happy team that's
Right.
doing well, I mean, I think if their execution and their um, results are such that warrant it, then it only makes sense, I think. Because I think to a degree we get too used to, like, yeah, people will move on if they move on. It's like, well, but if they're good, why do you want that? Like,
Correct.
and especially, like you said, pushing people to move up the ladder isn't always the answer. Like, they may not want that. They may not thrive in that. Was it last week? I think it was last week. Monica Frazier was on the show. And she talked about that for herself. Like, she moved up and she's like, was told, you don't seem happy. And so she went back to being a community manager, and look at her now. She's doing awesome, and she's still a community manager. She just won an award over the
She
weekend, I think.
did. Go, Monica.
Go, Monica. But yeah, I think that's a good example of somebody that's thriving, doing great. Um, did move up and was like, not for me. So,
Right.
but it doesn't mean like moving up could look different. Like, eventually they could be doing something else, right?
Right.
So,
But again, like I said before, your piece is expensive.
yeah,
So if when we go home, we have to really be able to close the door and make sure that we're okay. And if it's constantly just hitting you here and you can't rest, and you just feel like you're constantly drowning, it's okay to say, what, this is just, and if you have been doing well, there's not a management company I know that would not be able to say, let's make sure we make this right, because you're still a value, you're still
yeah,
an asset. So,
yeah,
mhm.
yep, exactly. Well, I'm glad that you are seeing the value in your team, and Ashley is very much seeming to appreciate you. So, uh,
She does that because she know I make sure that she gets a paycheck. That's all. Don't pay her any attention.
that's funny. Well, I think she's genuine.
She
So
is.
yeah, so kind of tied to all this, and I think you touched on it very briefly, was helping people see, or how you personally saw, that this industry is so much more and bigger than what you were doing just at a local level on site, and helping others see that too, that NAA is directly connected to your local association. Your local association, what's the point of that, and why get involved? But like, how do you help those people that are either new or even been in the industry a while that just aren't involved, cast a vision of this bigger thing that they're a part of?
Well, it all goes back to, especially for Arkansas, our management companies change quite a bit. We have a lot more third party
Okay.
management companies, so you have more people kind of moving around. We're more of a secondary market. So we may not have as many Rams or Gray Stars in our area. We may have smaller management companies that, bring folks in. So you have to, um, it's more really grassroots,
Mm.
I've actually invited people, say, hey, meet me at the association breakfast, if we're having that, or, you know, and they're looking like, well, girl, I don't know anybody. Come on, I meet you in the parking lot. It ain't that big of a deal. They don't bite. Come on. And, so sometimes it's just picking up the phone, knowing that these folks are there. And then, once they see it, it don't take but a couple times. Once they see it, they will continue to come. But like I said, it really does make a difference when they get that personal invite, or just
Hmm.
let them know, I'm going to be there. You don't have to worry about it. It's okay. And I've mentioned her since I've been on call. Patrice is a prime example. She worked at a property across the street from me. She can be a little reserved and quiet until she really gets to know you. And I'm like, if you don't come out from behind that desk and go over here to this thing with me, this luncheon, and now she's the VP.
Wow.
Yeah, she's incoming president. So, but it took somebody saying it's okay to come out. It's okay to do these things, and and then making sure, and this may be a touchy subject for some people, but making sure that the leasing staff know about the association. A lot of times emails go directly to the manager, and they'll just, disregard it, or they read
Hmm.
it, but they won't share it.
Yep.
So, whenever associations are updating their database with membership information, emails, we may have to get the general one for the property. So
Hmm.
everybody gets it,
Hmm.
because some people don't want to be active, but that doesn't mean the whole staff don't want to be active.
Right.
So they need to make sure that we can at least get that information out there. And we want them to know, again, that it's bigger than them, and that there's a whole nother support out there for you. And it's
Yeah.
not complete, well, in Arkansas, it's not completely cliquish and all that. We have a good time. We drink our margaritas and we go home. That's how we get down. So just making sure that people are just staying in the know. And that's where, a lot of the social media comes from. Ty and Delilah are wonderful in making sure that all that information is put in different platforms too. We can't just rely on the email, maybe the
Hmm.
TikToks, and maybe the Instagram, wherever we get them there, we have to
Hmm.
show them. And sometimes it just takes, you know, that type of education, or that type of information being put out there versus just the email. So just being creative sometimes, we'll
Yep.
get there, but a lot of it will have to be grassroots, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I'm actually on the marketing committee for WUMFA, our local chapter of NAA,
Mm-hmm.
the Washington Multifamily Housing
Mm-hmm.
Association, but affectionately
Mouthful.
known as WUMFA because it is a
Yes.
mouthful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I'm on the marketing committee and also the supplier committee, and that's the biggest thing is like, how do you get more of the industry? Because you go to things and you tend to see the same few people, and it's like this industry is way bigger than that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and there's so many young people that get into it, just like so many others that they didn't know what this industry was till they were here,
Right.
and now
Mm-hmm.
they need education on how to make this a career, and yet they probably don't even know about this association that they're a member
Right.
of.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's
So
odd. It's odd.
yeah,
You.
yeah. And so
Mm-hmm.
how do we, yeah, exactly, what is the way to best get out there? And I almost agree, I do agree, it's basically going to the property.
It's back old school, like suppliers used to go visit.
Yep.
Yeah, you had to deal with your board. Unfortunately, because it changes so much, especially
Yeah.
right now. Employees, people move from one property to another, one company from, to another. And some people are active, some people are not. And then, what is really hurtful is when you've been with a company that allows you to be active, and then you go to another company and they're like, no, we don't do that. And then you kind of lost in the middle. You're not getting the information, but now we've lost someone that could really be, can really grow from this.
Right.
So that's why we have to make sure, even though we are still knocking on the doors, we still need to make sure that we're putting out information, like I said, how whatever those channels look like for your area, it still
Right.
needs to be done digitally too. But yeah, it's Got to go back to the old apartment finder days, as my friends say, with the orange and white pencil in her hand and say, "Here's the book. Here we are." You know, sign up with us. You know, you may have to do that.
Well, I think it's funny. I'm also guilty of this. We get so like, how can we electronic, internet, social media in a digital way? How can we get the word out? And that's like where we focus, and we're like almost completely against having to get into our cars now and drive around and talk to people and tell them
Yeah.
about stuff.
Well, you know, COVID really hurt us with that too.
I think so too.
You know,
It made my brain think you can't leave your house.
right. Yeah, no doubt.
I
For
think
sure.
I'm still in that mindset. I'm like, I'm a prisoner to my home.
Yeah. Sometimes that's good because I'm an introvert. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I don't mind just sitting right here. You know, but no, we do. We have to get out. And how can we show them who we are without, without walking through the door? You
Yeah,
can't, because at that
it's
point, I'm
true.
just, it's just paper. So yeah, we
Yeah.
just have to go out.
All right. Well, this is good and bad news. But anyways.
Sorry.
No, but I agree wholeheartedly that I think but you need to put it in the hands of, like, I think what we
Not
get
everybody.
scared of is like it be like, I'm gonna do that. I'm like the only one. No, we need to like
Right.
put it in the hands of a bunch of people that are active who then
Hmm.
can spread the word. Because
Right.
I go into a property, they're not even gonna know who I am anyways. It's gonna be like, okay,
Right.
what are you even doing here? Although, there's a few people on LinkedIn that know who I am, but if I go to the property, they're going to be like, no idea.
No.
I don't have a clue.
Right. Correct. Same here.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And when I've gone to like local association stuff, like in other markets, it just reminds you that, wow, there's so many people, and face to face is still so needed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes,
yeah,
you're right. We'll get you there.
indeed. Yeah, we'll get there. Well, Shatoria, on this birthday special episode, is there anything last things you want to share? Whether it's about your birthday, the floor is yours, really. You're the birthday queen, and I'll let you talk about whatever you want at this point.
Okay, well, thank you for celebrating my birthday today. It's been
Absolutely.
great to see all the comments saying that. Um, but this industry is something that I am beyond passionate about. I love people, and I love what I do. And it's cliche to say, but we are giving people their homes, and the
Yeah.
world is just completely insane right now to go out. And so we just have a responsibility to, when they come home, that we give them the best that we can. It's not going to always be perfect, but we have to do our very best by the folks that are living in those apartments. So just give it your all and give it your best, but just know that there is so much more out there in the industry. If you are all about it, you can go from being a trainer, you can go from being, they are social media folks just for
Yeah.
property management. So I mean, it's gotten so broad now. I've been blessed to be able to do the NAAEI faculty, so now I'm tapping back into the speaker, role and training and all that. But that also comes with the experience that I had, that I could propel
Mm-hmm.
into that. So the world is ours, and there's so many things that we can tap into. I don't know, that shameless plug. If you're looking for somebody to come speak, come talk to me. We can do that too.
Hire
But yeah,
her.
hire me. Yes. Yeah, now if not me, there's tons of other ladies that I know will do a great job for you as
But
well. So,
today, the
but
boss is
today it's
here.
about me. No, I'm just
Shatoria,
joking.
hire her.
Again, I've decided to what? Spend it to somebody else and celebrate
Hmm.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Just that
Well, I'm
quick.
not going to allow that to
Right.
happen today. So,
But yeah, so no, I'm just thank you for the platform and the opportunity to talk to you about it. Anything dealing with multifamily is my heartbeat. So we have a great group of folks. This is a wonderful industry, and we're just a force to be reckoned with. That's all I got.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
thank you for being here
You're more than
and celebrating your
welcome.
birthday with me and making this a great 61 for the episode of Boss Talks. And
I'm
I
not
look
61. My
forward.
hair may look
No,
61, but I'm not. I'm
She's not
just joking.
61 people.
I'm just joking. Please don't put that number on me.
As we close out, put your crown back on.
Okay, let's see if we can do this. There we go. Did I get it right? Yeah, there we go. We just tilted to the side. There we go.
Nice. And everyone in the comments
Crown.
is singing happy birthday to you now. I would, but then it would be a recording and I would feel really, yeah. Plus they probably will sue me because I think it's copyrighted or something. So
probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Shatoria. And just like she jumped on, she was recommended by someone else, probably Ty, maybe Kendra and Ty. I don't know. There was a group of people that all said Shatoria had to be on the show, and she's here. And you can too. I'm all about elevating people and giving them a platform to show how they're a boss, how they're killing it in their role, in their place in this industry, multifamily. And that doesn't mean you have to be an area vice president, although she is, and that's awesome. I'm loving talking to people that are leasing professionals, people that are in the maintenance world when it comes to multifamily, and anywhere in between and all the way up to the top. So I love giving everybody a place to show who they are, tell their story, and help others learn and grow to be a better professional and person in this place, in this industry. So if you are interested, reach out. But this has been episode 61. Thanks for joining us today. All those that are in the audience, we love you. We thank you for your comments and your love for Shatoria. And happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And until next week, it's been Boss Talks.